Joe, when you've got new assistant coaches that you're getting to know, we know some are good scouts and some are less good. How do you kind of figure that out and sort through?
Well, you just have them talk through the players. You really ask them questions and, talk to them about what the vision they see for the player as they evaluate them. Certainly we have our scouts' opinions prior to that. I'll have my opinion as well on players, our staff. So I think our coaches, they'll know what we're looking for in terms of specific needs and roles in an offense and defense. And conversation helps them evaluate our players.
Joe, where are you guys at in terms of the evaluation of the roster? It's been a couple weeks since we talked to you, so where are you and Jim at in terms of evaluating what you guys have?
Yeah, we're making progress on it. Still kind of a work in progress. Daniel, staff just really got finalized last week. It's kind of a cross between installing the offense, installing the defense while evaluating the players, and that's natural because you're figuring out which players fit what we're going to do and how they're going to fit. And so not players on our roster, players in free agency, so kind of mixing it all together from a pro perspective.
And as you guys go through that process, who are the guys when you're watching film that are on the roster right now that jump out to you as guys that are really going to fit what you guys are doing on either side of the ball?
Yeah, I'll say this. The guys that are currently on our roster, I like all of the players. I mean, I think you find a role for them. And I think that's what we do is scouting. We find the things they can do for the team, and we do it in coaching. What can they do well for? So I don't think you eliminate any player. It's more of how they fit the team.
What sort of advice did John Harbaugh give you about working with Jim Harbaugh?
Advice, I don't know. I think being with John for so long, I've certainly gotten to know Jim rather well, just, as brothers. Jim coming on into Baltimore when he was at Stanford in Michigan, me going to visit him there. I think John believes that we were going to be a great pair, knowing us both. He's told me that. He's happy the two of us are together. So, I was looking forward to getting started with Jim, and it's been awesome.
It's been said before that Jim can, if you don't know him the right way, can sort of rub people the wrong way. Why do you think that there's that?
I don't know that because I know him, and I've gotten to know him, and I don't know how you can be in the room with Jim and felt rubbed the wrong way. He cares. He's a great person, and he's competitive. Like, he wants to win ball games, and it's all about getting better and being the best. So I don't know. I love him, and it's been a blast. I'm talking about the enthusiasm he's brought to the building every day. I'm in there in the morning, come into his office. You feel the energy. Our players feel it. Our coaching staff feels it. He walks into the draft room when we're in meetings. The scouts feel it. So it's exciting. It certainly is.
Joe, a little more clarity now with the cap officially set. What's going to be the approach with these four veteran contracts that you have between Joey, Khalil, Mike, and Keenan? What's going to be the approach from you guys?
Yeah, so we're talking through that still. We're still working through it. Obviously, the cap got bumped up a little bit higher than I think everyone was expecting, a little bit more. So gives us certainly some flexibility, a little bit more increased flexibility. So we'll kind of continue to talk through that over the next couple of weeks and have a plan of attack shortly.
When you're assessing sort of whether you're going to provide extensions to guys that are 30, approaching 30, post 30, what's the assessment process as far as whether that's going to be something you guys are?
Yeah, I think you look at a player's. You can look at a player's age. We do it in the draft, even. It's. You talk about 30, whatever. You talk about 21 versus 25. You're always looking at it, but you also have to look at the production that they've had and that you expect them to continue to have. I think those are the things you have to weigh.
With the departure of Austin Eckler in this offense, where do guys like Ralph they don't be able to do some of that stuff?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second part.
Where do guys like every patient, the rest of the running back will be the surgery?
Yeah, Austin's a free agent, and obviously that's something that he's got an opportunity, and we're working through that. So, but yeah, these guys have an opportunity. The guys that are currently on our roster, they have an opportunity, whether Austin's back or not. They have an opportunity to go out and prove themselves and grab a share of the offense, to grab an increased role, and that's what we want for them. Every player on our roster, regardless of their status and ending the season, it's what you're going to do going forward. So being out there working hard right now, coming in, attacking the day, being repping with the coaches, being engaged, there's an opportunity for every one of our players, regardless of who's on the Chargers, who's back with the Chargers, and who's gone.
Joe is a long-time executive. How do you look at when the running back or any position, there's kind of a good supply and maybe not as much, a ton of demand. There's a lot of teams that could use a back, maybe not everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think every position you have to weigh the opportunity, the surplus versus the value of the position. So if I think I heard you correctly, Aaron, you asked how you weigh the running back's position. Running backs are important for an offense, and I truly believe that. I've been in Baltimore for 26 years, and running backs were extremely important, and certainly in Jim's offense and Greg's offense it will be. So the value placed on it, the monetary value, that's the things that we talk through and work through, but there is value in the running back position for sure.
Joe, what do you think are the biggest lessons that you're learning there?
Oh, Garrett, there's so many. I think the biggest thing to walk out of Baltimore is it's a team. And I think that's the great thing about being with the Chargers now and being with Jim. It's the team. And, a couple of you guys are out here and, we work together. And, certainly I learned a ton of lessons from Ozzie and Eric. Patience, the season doesn't begin until September. You don't have to be in a rush to do anything. Be thorough in your evaluations. Be detailed. Eric's taught me that. And but I think just being a team, working together, coaching, scouting, everybody in the building, kind of rowing in the same direction, working in the same direction is important.
Joe, given the cap situation.
I'm sorry.
Is this one of the deepest offensive line draft classes you've seen in a while?
I'd say it's pretty deep. It's weird. I get this question a lot every year leading up to the draft, and it seems like there's players at every round, certainly in the offensive line. There's some other deep positions in the draft. It seems to be a lot, most years the same positions, but wide receiver every year's, starting to put out more and more wide receivers because the way college football has changed. So, but yeah, it's a good depth draft for a line.
Given the cap situation, how confident are you that you'll be able to make whatever moves you need to make in one off season, or could this be something that takes a couple of off seasons to get the roster where you guys want?
I think it's not off seasons. I think you're working to get the roster to where you want it every single day, and that's leading up to the draft. I mean, certainly we're going to take a draft centric approach. I believe in that, but free agency, June free agency, signings right before August, turn in the roster during the season. The roster should never be where you want it. You're always trying to move ahead and get it. But, yeah, we're going to continue to work to add pieces, but we're going to do it throughout the year, at all times of the year. In terms of the cap, I'm confident we can get there because you have to get there. I have no choice but to get under the cap, so I can promise you we're going to do that.
Joe, you talked about Eric before. I know he's an avid reader. Did any of that rub off on you there? And is there anything specifically that's formed your philosophy as a coach?
Not really. Eric certainly reads a lot more than me. I do more reading of stories and articles, but Eric, yeah, I love his appetite for reading, and maybe I'll get more into it, but he definitely learned some great things. The great thing about Eric is not only would he read, he'd share it with us, and he'd share chapters with us, and different articles that were really insightful, which I was able to glean some information from.
The expectation.
How do you feel to join a team that has a quarterback in place and not have room for that?
Yeah, that's a unique opportunity for a first-time GM, I think. Especially for a first-time GM at a new organization, right? Like you may become one at your existing place, elevate into the role, but to be able to walk in and have Justin Herbert and have Jim Harbaugh as your head coach and the Spanos family, who are fantastic people and have supported us completely. I mean, it's just they've given Jim everything he needs to build an all-star staff, and we're going to support the players. The new facility that we're building up there in El Segundo, I had a chance to see it. It's spectacular. I can't wait to get up there, but I know I got to take my time and get through the draft and all that. But to have Justin, it's really cool, and it's a great opportunity. It's very unique. You don't get those chances very often. That's what made this place such a special opportunity for me.
Joe, is the expectation still that Corey's going to retire?
We've talked, and I appreciate Corey for helping us out, given his current situation. I'll let him announce that or make that decision on his own. That's not mine to make. But he certainly understood where he was in his current situation, that he was able to help the team still by even not playing, and I'm very appreciative of that. And when we approached him with it.
And so just with
Process last year
I'm sorry, one more time.
we're always going to evaluate every decision.
With the players, it obviously goes by position, but I think really half of it's what they do on the field, the type of player they are. A lot of it's the person too. The other half. It's just you got to know what you're getting as a person. And I think his makeup, what type of teammate he is, how coachable he is, his desire to play the game, their toughness. Those are things that really matter to me and our organization. So we spend a lot of time. I think this combine, every combine is a valuable opportunity for us to get around players, and whether it's as group leaders, some of our scouts are group leaders. The 18 minutes we get them in the room to interview, you can get a lot out of 18 minutes by interviewing a player. Get to know him maybe more than I'm giving you guys here. I don't know, but it's a fun opportunity to get to know the guys.
Coach, you mentioned the top of the wide receiver class and how it gets better every single year. Can you talk specifically about the top of this class and why you think more and more wide receiving classes get better?
Yeah, I'm not going to mention any players specifically. I just don't do that. And if you go back to the year, some of the guys here know that too. But I think it's just the way the game's evolved. It's a passing game. In college, they spread it out more. Receivers are getting so many more opportunities, so many more reps. And that helps receivers develop faster, and so they get up to our level. They have a chance. They've seen a little bit more, and certainly we have more exposures to them. You look at the number of catches that receivers have now versus 15 years ago, it's impressive.
following up on Corey, Joe.
They want to get a consistent, effective run game.
Yeah.
When that emphasis is out there, do you feel any need for that player to be a veteran coming in? No,
I don't think so. I think you just want to find the best players for your team. Young, old, it doesn't matter, vet, in between, cap cut, guy that's released. I think you can find success everywhere with players. And, waiver claims, sign them off practice squad, the 8-year pro who's coming in to give you the last couple of years he's got. So I think you find the fit and find the player with the right mentality, and you go from there.
On Corey, at center, you guys are going to have a contingency plan there. I'm sure. So I guess what's the approach at center if Corey does end up retiring?
Well, Corey played 3 games last year. We had some guys that filled in for us there. Some are free agents, so obviously we're going to address that as we lead into free agency. There's available guys in free agency, and then certainly the draft. But we got guys on the roster that we feel can snap the ball right now, and we're excited about those guys. And then we'll continue to add pieces as we can.
Especially with you, when you look at the other 3 teams, what are the biggest things about those teams you feel like you can add, just moving into the season?
Yeah, well, certainly. I mean, Denver and Oakland, they're on the come, or Vegas, they're on the come. Sorry, and Kansas City, they've kind of shown us what they are. So I think they're talented teams. Certainly 2-time Super Bowl champs. That's who we're all chasing in the division. But they're well-run organizations. Great leaders. I know Tom, being over there, and Antonio did a great job the end of the year. Certainly, Denver, Peyton, they speak for themselves, and then, Kansas City, hats off to them. They've done what a lot of people haven't been able to do. A lot of teams haven't been able to do it in a long time, and so that's what we're chasing. Our work's cut out for us, but we got the guys that can do it, I think.
Joe, elsewhere on the general manager, I guess looking back, your time just like in college scale.
Where we are at 6, we're going to
Is this where you saw yourself kind of in your college days?
Do you hope you're not up there again? You don't want to be
Yeah, man, I think about that young me. No, I wanted to be the best student assistant I could be at Auburn. I really did, man. Like, make sure the coffee was ready. They gave me something to make copies, do it, And then I got hired in Baltimore. I wanted to be the best personnel assistant I could be, and that's kind of how I've approached it. Right now, I just want to help the Chargers win. I don't even think about honestly, I don't think about the role. I just want to help us win and support the team, support the players, support the coaches, and deliver a winner for the Spanos family.
Joe, especially with pretty quick, but Brandon's one of my good buddies, and I look up to him and he does a great job when they do that. It's always good to call him if there's a player we're interested in.
Okay, I think the question was if they're not testing at the combine. Well, they're doing a couple things. The psych testing, honestly, we weren't very involved in that in Baltimore, so I can't answer that question. I can't tell you what you're missing out on. I know what we relied on, and they're still doing some of that. So the rest, you'd have to ask probably a team that used it more or is more familiar with it.
Really excited about the new staff done. All that makes sense. If they don't fit, how much is there still to learn about how this works, given how big?
Yeah, no, that's part of the excitement, right? Like when you sit in there and you have conversations, you learn what a coach likes in a player, what he's familiar with, the way he did things. You get ideas, you get different viewpoints of what a player can do. So it's kind of a learning, growth, exploratory come together. It's a great mixture, and that's what makes it so much fun. I've had the opportunity to work with new coaches in the past, when we brought them in Baltimore, and you get a different perspective, and it's awesome, and you can learn something from everyone. So that's part of the excitement.
A couple additions to your front office with Chad and Corey. What can you say about that?
Yeah, Chad's a guy I've known for 25 years. Picked him up at the airport in Baltimore and worked with him there. Outstanding evaluator, has worked in college and pro, and kind of seen it all, done it all, and just a guy that I trust his eyes and his ability to evaluate, and also his leadership. Just a great leader, and just going to be there to support. And then Corey, Corey's an outstanding analyst in Baltimore, comes up with some really good ideas, has a different way of looking at things than I may look at it as a scout. So it gives you different perspectives and explores different options. And two guys I'm very excited to have, and I'm thankful that the Spanos family helped get it done, and just shows their commitment to getting better and really improving the organization and the team wherever we can improve it.
Last one, guys. Hey, Joe.
How does that leave you perspective of the
I think as the salary cap grows, obviously quarterback, all contracts are going to grow. The perspective of Lamar's contract, I think both sides felt really good about the deal when it got done, and I think they're both happy it got done, and I expect them to be happy going forward for sure.